What do you think this does on both sides of the move for the Chiefs and the Ravens?
Well, I mean, the Chiefs obviously needed an offensive tackle, so they made the move to make sure they get Orlando Brown to solidify that offensive line. But I really want to focus on the Baltimore Ravens because this is something that the Baltimore Ravens have always done. They've always done a great job of putting themselves in a position to nab blue chip players that may fall down the board, particularly in the first round. So now you're looking at a Baltimore Ravens team that has 2 first-round picks at the bottom of the board. They have 2 third-rounders and 2 fourth-rounders. They're currently in a situation where they're dealing with Lamar Jackson. Do they give him the fifth-year option? Do they extend him on a long-term deal? I do wonder, going all the way back to John Harbaugh, his words, he said, "We are the army of the NFL." I just wonder in a scenario if Justin Fields happened to fall low enough where he is within range, if the Baltimore Ravens decide to really go all in on this army approach, meaning they take a collegiate approach to the quarterback position, they cash in on a blue chip, they take Justin Fields, and then maybe they operate like a college team. One quarterback graduates, the other quarterback steps into the starter's role. You now have the opportunity to keep a starting quarterback potentially on a young deal, build up the rest of the assets, and then play smash mouth football the way that they played and continue to build a better team around the quarterback. It's something to think about.
Bucky, you real outside the box with that, man. I love the thinking. I love the accumulating the picks, but I just can't see any way you got the MVP from 2 years ago and you go and move a bunch of assets up to go get another QB to just say, hey, we're going to move on from him. The bigger aspect for me is that the Ravens made this trade to who? They didn't trade it to the Bengals or something. They traded it to Kansas City Chiefs, the number one rival that's in the AFC, who was just in the Super Bowl champ 2 years ago, and now you're going to help that team. We saw how they struggled in the Super Bowl without the blocking, and now they basically just gifted them a left tackle to help that team. So that seems kind of odd, where it's rare to see a trade made to the best team in the NFL with one that you're competing with, Charles.
Yeah, Mark, and playing off of that, they did play last year in the regular season in a much-anticipated game, and Kansas City jumped on them. So you're right. It's a surprise to see that sort of thing happen. But I've got to get back to Bucky because I love the thought process. I love how we play these games. But didn't we talk about this about a week and a half ago where DJ had kind of floated it out there a little bit, Bucky following up, and once again Lamar Jackson's agent is having to be resuscitated. Okay? Once again, he has slumped over. Just when he recovered, he thought it was safe to go back out. Bucky brought him back in again to having to deal with this. And one last thing. You remember before they traded back and got, Lamar Jackson? John Harbaugh had told his staff prior to the draft, tell me how we will run offense with this guy. Fashion that for me in case we draft him. I don't think they're ready to get away from it. But I love the scenario, Bucky. Because, boy, would that shake up draft night if something like that went down.
Well, I'm just waiting for the team to do that because we all can sit here and say that the easiest way to build a Super Bowl team is to have your quarterback on a rookie deal, just because from an economical standpoint, it allows you to build up the rest of the roster. So who is going to be bold enough to make that move? And so when you look at the Baltimore Ravens currently accumulating assets and the fact that Lamar Jackson is nearing the end of his original rookie contract, are the Baltimore Ravens willing to pay Lamar Jackson $40 million plus a year to play the style of football that he currently plays? Or are they willing to let him graduate and bring in another quarterback that can run this same system that they've created in Baltimore?